I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
This is great for, what would you rather be canceled for? Sucking at your job or the mean president took your job away? So for them, he's getting to come back. So you got to take...
What you're about to see should probably be illegal in all 50 states because Tyrus just transformed Jimmy Kimmel into a full-time punchline. 1 second, Jimmy was laughing like everything was safe and scripted. The next second, he looked like a man reconsidering every career decision he has ever made on live television with cameras rolling in 4K. This wasn't just a roast. This was a comedic detonation. A psychological earthquake. A moment so wild, it should come with a warning label. Did Tyrus go too far? Did Jimmy secretly have it coming? And why did the audience react like they were watching a controlled explosion? Stick around, because what happened on that stage could be taught in a comedy science class.
They all get together, they compare notes, and they tell each other, yeah, you should never mention his name again. You should never mention his name again. You should never. Does he call you? Doesn't call me? He texted me last week. Oh, so I'm still in the game. That's all this was. That's just, and that's why nobody cared. Nobody cares about the ex-wife's club.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit around, be funny, or they're setting up for when they're all canceled, they're...
Before we move on, smash that like button and hit subscribe, because trust me, you don't want to miss this breakdown. Tyrus didn't just walk into the comedy universe. He stormed in like someone who skipped breakfast and came straight for chaos. Within 5 seconds, the room shifted from calm late-night chatter to seismic activity. The audience didn't know whether to laugh, gasp, or launch a GoFundMe for Jimmy's dignity. Careers weren't ruined, but ego definitely needed a bandage.
If there ever was one. But it's not about me right now. But
right.
The point is, like, of course he's not going to change because he didn't have a reason to change. His whole thing was the best thing for him was to stay gone because he would have been able to say for the rest of his days that the evil Trump MAGA got me. And then all his pundits would come out and say, free speech is being taken away. And now, like, nope, here's your ball.
Jimmy arrived in his usual confident mode, smiling, relaxed, ready for another smooth night on air. But he didn't realize a comedy thunderstorm was moving in fast. Before he could even adjust his tie, jokes started flying like dodgeballs at summer camp. No physical damage, just pure theatrical obliteration. Even the cameras looked like they wanted to zoom out for safety.
3-man show.
Yes.
Come watch us say how much we hate the president.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have anything to talk about. Kimmel was given each one of them was given a reset except for Seth. I didn't even know he was still on the air.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. Everyone's watching Forensic Files.
Yes.
Viewers watched with the same expression you make when your phone falls face down on concrete. Nobody dared blink, because blinking meant missing the next wave of comedic artillery. Tyrus delivered his lines like a man who graduated top of his class from a secret government sarcasm academy. Jimmy was not ready, not trained, and definitely not waterproof.
You, Tyrus, where do you land on this thorny issue?
Like most times I land on thorns, they get smashed. I don't care because I don't think it has anything to do with free speech. You have a job, just like I have a job. And if I go too far at work, I get fired. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on TV.
Yeah.
If I'm stacking cans at Walmart and I decide that I want to tell everyone who comes down they need to be conservative or they can't.
What unfolded on that stage resembled a masterclass in roasting disguised as entertainment. Every jab landed with GPS precision. Not a single comedic missile missed its target. The crowd became unwilling referees, trying to decide whether to clap, gasp, or dodge emotional shrapnel. Whenever Jimmy attempted a comeback, sarcasm was already warming up for round 2. Jimmy wasn't physical harm, but psychologically, let's just say he was probably emailing the universe for a reset button.
It's hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard not to punch down sometimes. It is.
Yeah.
People say and you just want to go get them, but you would be like, I'm so busy winning.
Yeah.
Sometimes ignoring is the best diss
Yeah.
Ever. You don't matter. But Europe is, I used to go to Europe all the time. I will not go for anything now because I know they'll be like, because they watch.
The camera panned across faces locked in secondhand embarrassment, so powerful it deserved its own diagnosis. Tyrus kept leveling up like a gamer unlocking achievements no one approved. A simple comeback attempt turned into a survival documentary. The lights stayed bright, but Jimmy's soul dimmed 2 shades. Mercy didn't show up. It didn't even text. Jokes about Jimmy's habits, reputation, and on-air antics swirled into a tornado of comedic destruction. Scientists could study this roast as an example of unstoppable force collisions.
What are they going to do when he's gone?
Yeah.
They won't still be on TV, but are they still going to be doing, are they going to be with Rosie O'Donnell in a 4-way Zoom podcast about Trump ruining their life still?
I'm glad you didn't stop at 4-way. Although in my head I can see it.
Come on, man. My mouth was open.
Heather, what do you make? You have the business angle on everything. So what's?
Well, for this, you didn't play the part when Kimmel was on. Well, you played the part Kimmel was on Colbert. When Colbert went on Kimmel, he said, "Welcome to the Emmy award-winning late-night talk show host nominated, limited time only because of Trump administration." No, that's how he was introduced. It's not because of Trump administration that you're going to be.
The audience wasn't cheering. They were witnessing history with the emotional maturity of children watching fireworks. Jimmy tried collecting fragments of morale, but every time he attempted charm, Tyrus added more fuel. Social media exploded. Chats went feral. People were typing so fast, the emojis needed CPR. Every deflection from Jimmy made the roast even funnier, feeding Tyrus's momentum until the entire studio vibrated with chaotic energy. Millions dream of trending, but not like this. Late-night banter became late-night theater, bursting with sarcasm, swagger, and unnecessary levels of style. The roast didn't stop because of timing, emotion, or compassion. It stopped because time itself ran out.
So this has nothing to do with free speech. You have a job. It's happened here. If a stand-up comedian does a joke that's too raunchy, and they're like, "Whoa, you're done," or goes too far on a TV. He went too far, and it's not like they haven't been giving them hints. They told The View, "Hey, maybe chill out." They told all these networks, "Hey, enough, maybe chill out," and they have had their way. And they had the government and the mainstream media backing them. Every time they said something, they were a martyr. And it was no
Replays became mandatory. Nobody cared about the original topic. Everyone wanted to witness the shockwave again. Memes multiplied. GIFs were forged instantly. Critics dove in like pigeons on dropped bread, analyzing every frame. Some called it strategy. Others called it unhinged artistry. Everyone agreed on iconic. Tyrus floated off stage like a man who had just completed a sacred comedic ritual. Jimmy smiled professionally, but spiritually, he needed a spa weekend and some sage. The contrast between Tyrus's calm and Jimmy's internal collapse became the final punchline.
One clown went all in on ignoring reality and blames MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So MAGA is desperately trying to portray Kirk's killer as not one of them. If that man was any more full of he'd be a colostomy.
People who never watched the show suddenly tuned in just to avoid being out of the loop. Strangers explained the roast with dramatic reenactments, like wildlife narrators describing apex predators. Merchandise popped up faster than legal departments could blink. Jimmy didn't endorse anything, for very obvious reasons. Tyrus gained legendary status. Jimmy gained character development. And the internet gained a new cultural holiday.
We're seeing the adults back in the room at network television and everything else, just like, again, Washington Post firing an angry black woman talking about white people. Never would have happened. They wouldn't even dared it. And they were like, "Nope, you're out," because we're getting back to a mutual respect. Being on TV is a gift. This isn't a job you have to have. This is a job you get to have. And if you are not in line with the people who make the decisions, ABC probably is about to lose, what, $6 million in a week over advertising and everything else. They made a choice going this.
The roast became iconic, not because it was mean, but because it was sharp, theatrical, and self-aware. Comedy morphed into performance art. Jimmy wasn't harmed, just transformed into someone else's masterpiece. Being the punchline isn't easy, but sometimes the punchline becomes history. To this day, people rewatch it for the fascination. It proved how unpredictable live entertainment is, how quickly control can flip, and how powerful humor becomes in skilled hands. A rematch? If it ever happens, therapists and popcorn vendors will break sales records.
That was 2 days ago, so Kimmel had the chance to walk it back, but he can't. And why is that? Because to admit he was wrong on this calls into question his entire filter for interpreting reality. So it's better to live in denial, knowing the like-minded media won't press you on it. But we will. Hey, Disney shareholders, it may be time to thaw out Walt to put things right. No wonder your 5-year stock price looks like this. Bambi's mom has a...
Even as the world moves on with new memes and dramas, that moment stays frozen in pop culture memory. The flawless delivery, the collapsed composure, the stunned audience. Tyrus didn't just outperform Jimmy. He rewrote the rules of late-night roasting. Producers whispered. Comedians reevaluated their material. PR teams scheduled emergency coffee meetings that tasted like panic. Sarcasm suddenly looked like a contact sport requiring helmets.
This is not good. So he has all free speech. Get a podcast like everybody else.
Yeah.
Stand outside of your house and preach your stuff. Do your stand-up. See if anyone in the neighborhood stops by.
All right.
Fan communities usually argue, but not that night. They united under the banner of pure, delicious chaos. People replayed the footage like scholars studying battle formations. Influencers slowed it down frame by frame. Jimmy's smile, held together by willpower and dental strength, became an instant meme sport. It wasn't just entertainment. It became research material. Organized chaos at its finest.
So last night, Jimmy Kimmel returned to his show and gave a self-pitying, tearful non-apology. But I gotta say, it's nice to see someone crying at Kimmel's show besides the audience. Kimmel failed to correct his lie that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a MAGA supporter, but he cited Jesus as inspiration for forgiveness. True, Jesus forgave his executioners, but Jesus also cast demons.
Tyrus's silence afterward made everything even more dramatic. No follow-ups, no bragging, just quiet confidence, the scariest response of all. Executives love unforgettable moments, but they also love control. And control evaporated that night, which only made the ratings spike sweeter. Analysts debated authenticity, resilience, and the emotional stamina required to survive a public roasting. But everyone agreed, nobody walks away unchanged.
Why did it take so long? Because, I'd crushed them like bugs, David. I'd crushed them and I'd thrown them into the wind, and they were still here. I call it entertainment welfare. The only reason why they were around for so long, despite the fact that their numbers were dropping, was the fact that they kind of towed the line. So I guess when I heard that they were gone, it really didn't surprise me because the numbers were saying it. I don't think it was political. I didn't know anybody, and I'm counting by many liberal friends who watched them. And I think it's because it wasn't entertainment anymore. It was more like...
Jimmy returned to work with sitcom character determination, rebuilding confidence brick by brick. Viewers rooted for him while secretly waiting for another storm to hit someday. Tyrus moved on with the calm of a man who punched a hole through pop culture and then went home to eat dinner. Writers used the moment as a measuring stick. Hosts treated it like folklore. Fans treated it as entertainment perfection. It wasn't just a roast. It became comedic infrastructure.
Which, as you know, for Jimmy, is still possible. So should we forgive him for the first time he lied or the second? Jesus performed a lot of miracles, but I don't think he'll be bringing Kimmel's show back from the dead.
Kimmel portrayed himself as a victim, so maybe next time he does blackface, instead of Karl Malone, he should just go as Jussie Smollett.
Time didn't soften the memory. Time polished it. New viewers discover it daily, reacting like it's breaking news. The moment now sits in late-night history like a glowing plaque bolted into the wall. Comedy evolves. Hosts compete. Audiences crave surprise. But every now and then, someone mentions the roast, and the room goes silent for a second, because everyone knows exactly which night they mean. The night Tyrus turned television into an unforgettable avalanche. Legendary comedic moments aren't planned. They explode, rewrite the rules, and live forever.